I opened the door, expecting a delivery. Instead, I found a woman I'd never met standing on my porch at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. She was holding a USB drive like he was evidence at a crime scene. "Are you Nathan?" she asked. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. "Yeah?" "I'm Claire. My husband is Ryan Holloway." The name hit me like a punch. Ryan, my wife's work friend, the guy she'd been texting at dinner, the reason for all those late-night project meetings. "We need to talk," Claire said, "because what's on this drive, it's not what you think." She held up the USB. "It's worse." I let her in. 20 minutes later, I was staring at my laptop screen, and my entire marriage was rewriting itself in front of my eyes. Not just an affair, a plan. Timestamps, bank accounts, messages that made my blood run cold, and one video file titled, "When Nathan Finally Leaves." Claire looked at me across my kitchen table. "Hit play," she said quietly. "You need to see what they said about you." My hand hovered over the mouse. If you want to know what was on that video and what I did with it, hit subscribe, because what happened next didn't just end my marriage, it ended his career. My name is Nathan Cross. I'm 38 years old, and I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a systems analyst for a mid-sized tech company, the kind of job that sounds impressive at parties, but mostly means I fix things when they break and prevent disasters nobody notices. I work from home 3 days a week. I make decent money, enough for a comfortable life in a decent neighborhood. My wife, Melissa, is a project manager at a marketing firm downtown. She's ambitious, driven, the kind of person who has her calendar color-coded and her goals written in a leather-bound planner. We've been married for 6 years. Together for 9. For most of that time, I thought we were solid. Not perfect, nobody is, but solid. The kind of couple that finishes each other's sentences and has inside jokes nobody else gets. Or so I thought. 8 months ago, Ryan Holloway joined Melissa's company. She mentioned him casually one night over dinner. "New creative director started today. Ryan something. Seemed sharp." I nodded, half listening, focused on my pasta. A week later, Ryan and I had this great idea for the campaign. Even the CEO was impressed. A month later, Ryan and I are grabbing lunch to brainstorm. Don't wait up for me. At first, I didn't think anything of it. Melissa had work friends. She'd always had work friends. But then the pattern shifted. It started with her phone. Melissa used to leave it on the counter, face up, notifications lighting up like a Christmas tree. Then one day, it was always face down. Then it was always in her purse. Then it was always in her hand, screen angled away from me. "Who are you texting?" I asked once. Casual, not accusatory. "Just Ryan," she said without looking up. "Work stuff." At 10 p.m., "Project deadline," she said, still typing. "You know how it is." I did know how it is. I also knew that work stuff doesn't usually make someone smile like that. Then came the late nights. "Ryan and I have to finish the presentation. I'll be home late." Client dinner ran long. Ryan drove me home. "We're doing a strategy session off-site. I'll probably crash at Sarah's." Sarah was her coworker. I'd met Sarah. Sarah was real. But I started wondering if Sarah knew she was being used as an alibi. I'm not a paranoid man. I don't check phones. I don't track locations. But I'm also not stupid. When your wife starts dressing differently for work, new clothes, new perfume, makeup that takes 20 minutes instead of 5, you notice. When she stops asking about your day and starts talking about Ryan's opinions on everything from marketing strategy to the best coffee in Austin, you notice. When she laughs at her phone in bed and then quickly locks it when you glance over, you notice. I noticed, but I didn't say anything because part of me didn't want to know. 6 months in, I tried to meet him. "You talk about Ryan so much," I said one Saturday morning. "We should have him and his wife over for dinner." Melissa froze, coffee cup halfway to her lips. "His wife?" "Yeah, you said he's married, right?" "Oh, yeah, Claire.
But they're really private. I don't think they do couple things. We could just do drinks, casual. Nathan, that's weird. You don't just invite coworkers and their spouses over randomly. You talk about him every day. Doesn't seem random. Her jaw tightened. Why are you being like this? Like what? Jealous, insecure. It's not attractive. That word, insecure, landed like a slap. Because that's the move, right? Turn it around. Make the person asking questions feel like they're the problem. I dropped it, but the seed was planted. 7 months in, I did something I'm not proud of. I looked at her phone. She was in the shower. Her phone was on the nightstand, charging. I picked it up, tried her passcode, our anniversary, locked. Tried her birthday, locked. Tried my birthday, locked. She'd changed it. My wife had changed her passcode and didn't tell me. I set the phone down and sat on the edge of the bed staring at the wall. That's when I knew. Not suspected, knew. I could have confronted her. I could have demanded the truth, but I didn't, because I needed proof. Not for me, I already knew, but for what came next. So I started documenting. I noted every late night, every work dinner, every time she came home smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. I checked our credit card statements, found charges at restaurants I'd never been to, hotels in Austin, our own city, booked on weeknights. I took screenshots, I saved receipts, I built a file, and I waited. Then, 8 months after Ryan Holloway entered our lives, Claire showed up at my door. It was a Tuesday, 9 p.m. I was on the couch halfway through a rerun of The Office when the doorbell rang. Melissa was at another late meeting. I opened the door. A woman stood there, mid-30s, dark hair pulled back, eyes red like she'd been crying but had pulled herself together through sheer force of will. "Are you Nathan?" she asked. "Yeah?" "I'm Claire. My husband is Ryan Holloway." My stomach dropped. "We need to talk," she said. I let her in. She sat on the edge of my couch, hands clasped around a small USB drive like it was a grenade. "How long have you known?" "About what?" "About them."
I exhaled. 8 months of suspicion. 2 months of certainty. She nodded. "I've known for 3. "Why didn't you—" "Because I needed proof," she interrupted. "Real proof. Not just gut feelings and late nights." She held up the USB drive. I got it. Claire told me her story. Ryan had been distant for months. Secretive. His phone was locked. He worked late constantly. She'd confronted him. He'd denied everything, called her paranoid, insecure. The same words Melissa had used on me. "So I hired someone," Claire said, "a private investigator." She handed me the USB drive. "This is everything he found." My hands were shaking as I took it. "There's photos," she continued, "timestamps, hotel records, text message logs he pulled from Ryan's cloud backup." She paused. "And there's video." "Video?" "Ryan recorded a conversation with Melissa. I don't think he meant to. His phone was in his pocket, recording app running, but it caught everything." She met my eyes. "You need to hear what they said about you." I plugged the USB into my laptop. The drive had folders, dozens of them. Photos, messages, financial records, video. I opened photos first. There they were, Melissa and Ryan. Coffee shops, restaurants, hotel lobbies. One photo showed them in a parking garage, her hand on his chest, his hand on her waist, kissing like teenagers. The timestamp, 3 weeks ago, the same night she said she was at Sarah's. I felt nothing, not anger, not sadness, just cold, clear focus. I opened messages next. Hundreds of texts pulled from Ryan's cloud backup. Melissa, "Nathan's working from home tomorrow. Come over after he leaves for his dentist appointment." Ryan, "Hotel or your place?" Melissa, "My place. I want to do it in our bed." I stared at that message until the words blurred. Our bed. Claire's voice was quiet.
There's more. I opened financial records. It was a spreadsheet, meticulously organized. Hotel charges, dinner bills, even a weekend trip to San Antonio I knew nothing about. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the column labeled, Paid by Nathan. They'd been using our joint credit card. I'd been funding my own wife's affair. Claire saw my face. I know. Ryan did the same thing, used our joint account for everything. Why would they? Because they didn't think we'd ever find out, she said simply. They thought we were too stupid to notice. I opened the video folder. One file, 47 minutes long, titled, When Nathan Finally Leaves. I looked at Claire. What is this? Just watch. I hit play. The video was dark at first, audio only, muffled like it was recorded in a pocket, then voices. Ryan's voice. So when are you actually going to do it? Melissa's voice. Do what? Leave him. A pause. I don't know. It's complicated. It's not complicated. You're unhappy. You've said it 100 times. I know, but Nathan's stable. He's safe. Ryan laughed. Safe is boring. Safe pays the bills, Melissa said. I'm not giving up the house, the car, the lifestyle, just to what? Be happy? Another pause. I'm working on it, Melissa said. I just need to figure out the financials first.
My blood went cold. Ryan's voice again. What do you mean, financials? I mean, I need to make sure I get what I'm owed. The house is in both our names. I've been contributing to the mortgage for 6 years. I'm not walking away with nothing. So, you're planning to divorce him? Eventually, but I need to do it right. Document everything. Show that I've been the primary earner, which I have. Nathan makes decent money, but I make more. I can argue that I've been supporting the household. Have you talked to a lawyer? Not yet, but I will. I just need to be smart about it. Ryan laughed again. You're ruthless. I love it. I'm practical, Melissa corrected. I'm not going to blow up my life without a plan. The video continued. They talked about their future, moving in together, maybe getting a place in downtown Austin, somewhere trendy. What about Claire? Melissa asked. What about her? Are you going to leave her? Ryan hesitated. Eventually. That's what you said 3 months ago. I know, it's just complicated. Melissa's voice turned cold. So I'm supposed to blow up my marriage while you stay comfortable in yours. That's not what I'm saying. Then what are you saying, Ryan? A long pause. I'll figure it out. Just give me time. Melissa sighed. Fine, but I'm not waiting forever. The video ended. I sat there staring at the black screen, my reflection staring back at me. Claire's voice was quiet. I'm sorry you had to hear that. I didn't respond. Couldn't. They're not just having an affair. They're planning, strategizing, treating us like obstacles. I finally found my voice. What do you want to do? She looked at me, eyes hard. I want to destroy them. We made a plan. Not revenge, strategy. Claire had already consulted a divorce attorney. She had her ducks in a row. I called a lawyer the next morning. A guy named Paul Hendricks came highly recommended. I brought him everything, the USB drive, my own documentation, credit card statements, photos. Paul went through it methodically, making notes. This is comprehensive, he said. Is it enough? Enough for what? To make sure she doesn't get a dime. Paul leaned back. Texas is a community property state. She's entitled to half of marital assets regardless of fault. My jaw tightened. Even if she's been cheating? Adultery can affect spousal support, but not property division. So she gets half the house, half my retirement, after everything? Unless, Paul paused, unless we can prove financial misconduct.
What do you mean? She used marital funds to finance the affair. Hotels, dinners, trips. That's dissipation of marital assets. We can argue she should reimburse the marital estate for those expenses. I smiled for the first time in days. How much are we talking? Paul pulled up the spreadsheet Claire had given me, started calculating. Conservatively, about $40,000. And she'd have to pay that back? We can ask the judge to award you a greater share of assets to compensate. It's not guaranteed, but with this evidence, he tapped the USB drive, we've got a strong case.
I didn't confront Melissa. Not yet. I played the role, the oblivious husband. I smiled when she came home late. I didn't ask questions when she said she was meeting Sarah. I even suggested we take a weekend trip. Just the two of us. Reconnect. She looked uncomfortable. I'm really busy with work right now. Come on, we haven't had a real vacation in over a year. Maybe next month, she said quickly, after this campaign wraps. I nodded. Sure, next month. But we both knew next month would never come. 2 weeks later, I filed for divorce. I didn't tell her I was doing it. I just had her served. At work, in front of Ryan. The process server walked into her office at 2 p.m. on a Thursday and handed her the papers. I know because Claire was watching from the parking lot. She texted me a photo. Melissa's face, white as paper, staring at the envelope. Ryan beside her, looking panicked. Claire. Served. Your turn? Me. Filed this morning. He'll get his tomorrow. Claire. Good. Melissa came home that night like a hurricane. What the hell is this? She screamed, waving the papers. I was at the kitchen table, calm, laptop open. Divorce papers. I thought that was obvious. You can't just... I can. I did. Nathan, we need to talk about this. We're past talking, I said. You've been cheating on me for 8 months, with Ryan. I have proof. Her face went from red to white. That's not... I turned my laptop around, showed her and Ryan kissing in the parking garage. She stared at it, mouth opening and closing like a fish. I have more, I said calmly. Photos, messages, financial records, and video. Video? I hit play on the audio file. Her voice filled the kitchen. Safe pays the bills. I'm not giving up the house, the car, the lifestyle. Her face crumpled. Where did you get that? Doesn't matter. What matters is I have it, and so does my lawyer. She tried everything. Tears. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Anger. You're overreacting. It didn't mean anything. Bargaining. We can fix this. Counseling. Whatever you want. I sat there unmoved. I want a divorce, I said simply, and I want you out of this house by the end of the week. This is my house, too. Actually, I said, pulling out another document, I talked to a lawyer. Since you used marital funds to finance your affair, I'm asking the court to award me a greater share of the assets to compensate. You can't. I can, and I will. She stared at me like she'd never seen me before. Who are you? She whispered. I'm the guy who was too stupid to see what was happening, but I'm not stupid anymore. The divorce took 4 months. Melissa fought hard. Her lawyer argued that the affair was irrelevant, that she deserved half of everything. Paul countered with the financial records, showed that she'd spent $40,000 of marital funds on her affair. The judge was not impressed. In the end, Melissa got her car, her retirement account, $30,000 from the sale of the house. I got my house, which I immediately sold, my retirement account, $70,000 from the sale of the house, and full reimbursement for the affair expenses. No alimony, no ongoing payments. Clean break. But that wasn't the end of Ryan's story. Claire's divorce was messier, because Ryan wasn't just cheating, he was embezzling. The private investigator had found something else.
Ryan had been using company funds to pay for his affair. Dinners charged to the corporate card, hotel rooms booked as business travel. Claire handed that evidence to Ryan's company. He was fired within a week. And because he'd signed a contract with a morality clause, he lost his severance. Last I heard, he's working at a startup in Dallas, making a fraction of what he used to. Claire took him for everything in the divorce: house, cars, retirement. He's living in a studio apartment, driving a 10-year-old sedan, and paying her $3,000 a month in child support. 6 months after the divorce, I ran into Melissa at a coffee shop. She was someone new, younger guy, looked like a personal trainer. She saw me. Her face went tight. I nodded, polite, distant. She looked like she wanted to say something. I didn't give her the chance. I grabbed my coffee and left. Because I didn't need closure. I didn't need an apology. I needed distance. And I finally had it. A year later, I'm in a different place, literally and figuratively. I bought a small house in North Austin, 2 bedrooms, one for me, one for an office. I adopted a dog, a rescue mutt named Cooper, who greets me at the door like I'm the best thing that ever happened to him. I started running again, lost the weight I'd gained during the marriage. I even started dating. Nothing serious, just coffee, dinners, getting to know people. And I'm careful now, not paranoid, just aware. I know what red flags look like. I know what just a friend can turn into. I know that trust isn't given, it's earned. And I know that when someone shows you who they are, you believe them. Claire and I still talk sometimes, text mostly. She's doing well, thriving, actually. She started her own business, some kind of consulting firm. She's dating, too, a guy who treats her like she matters. We joke sometimes about starting a support group, survivors of Ryan and Melissa, but mostly we just check in, make sure the other is okay, because we went through something together, something that could have destroyed us, but it didn't. We're still standing. If you've ever been the one left in the dark, if you've ever heard just a friend and felt your gut twist, if you've ever found out the truth and wondered if you'd survive it, this one's for you. You will survive. Not because it doesn't hurt, it does, but because you're stronger than the lies they told. And the life you build after, the one where you're not constantly questioning, not walking on eggshells, not pretending everything's fine when it's not, that life is worth fighting for. Hit subscribe if this story hit home. Comment "I survived" if you've been there, because the best revenge isn't making them pay. It's building a life so good you forget they existed.